Good.
Make sure you pronounce the G.
Good. Anyway, welcome to Orks. Here we go, guys. We are getting into the Orks. Xenos have all dropped today, and the first ones in. Red ones go faster. We are dealing with Orks right now. We're going through the Orks index, and boy, is it it's chunky. There's a lot of rules in here.
Chock full of good stuff.
Chock full of rules. I'm super excited to go through these. I really want to put the greenskins back on the table. I wasn't an Ork player until about 2/3 of the way through 9th, and then, I took them to...
You fell in love with them.
Fell in love with them, took them to the GW finals, won with them, so big fan of the Orks, big fan of the greenskins, and I'm excited to see what they have this edition. Getting in, smashing and bashing.
Jack hasn't been crumping for a long time, but he's been crumping.
Oh, yeah, we're here for a good time. We crump for a good time, not a long time. I'm unsure. You can figure it out. Well, it is, in fact, crumping time.
Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Like Jack said, we are doing Xenos all day. Go ahead and check out the YouTube channel under Live. You'll see all the different events. Click that Notify Me button, and you'll be notified when we start going live. Hang out in the chat all day. And on top of that, if you like this type of 10th edition content, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about us, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think is the most hype part of Orks, because I think there's quite a bit of good stuff in here.
I think there is. I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff, and by definition, there's going to be quite a lot of good stuff in there, because, geez, this puts me in mind of the Space Marine one. The Space Marine one was like 200-something pages. This one's like 120, but I think this puts like everyone else to shame.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
But, in addition, if you want any other types of content, advanced level content, in the War Room, we've been doing top 3 combo videos for every single faction. Today, we're releasing the Eldari and Tau ones, but Orks will get their time in the sun soon. And then we'll be doing State of the Factions, breaking down all the stuff related to every single faction, best data sheets, what the top lists are going to be, all that stuff coming very soon. So check it out in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. There's a 3-day free trial, so it doesn't hurt to just check out all the stuff we have in there so far. And like I said, games are going to be coming soon, as well as those State of the Factions, so stay tuned for that.
All right. Well, first up, we've got Dr. Montalban. Welcome to the War Room Bronze. Glad to have you here. Hope you are an Ork enthusiast. All right, so let's get right into Orks. Let's dive right in. That's what Orks would do. They would dive right in, so let's do it. All right, so first up is their army rule, which is WOG. I'm sorry I pronounced the G. That's how it's been since 5th ed for me, so I will not change.
Be angry in the comments about Jack saying the G.
Please do. It fuels my WOG. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Anyway, if you are Orks once per battle at the start of a battle round, you can call WOG. If you do until the start of the next battle round, Ork units from your army are eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which they advanced, and you add 1 to strengthen attacks for melee weapons, and they get a 5-up invuln. So this is exactly like the first turn of WOG. Now, there's a little bit of a timing thing that I'll get into, but this is exactly like the first turn of WOG in 9th edition. The problem is it doesn't have a second turn. In 9th edition, you had a second turn. We had a 6-up invuln. Whatever on that one. Beast Snag has already had a 6-up invuln. But +1 strength and attacks was a big deal for that second turn of just getting additional damage and making sure, you initiate, you hit really hard, and then your follow-up attack also hits really hard.
Yep.
So we'll have to look through, but unfortunately this is one turn that is as good as it was before, and that turn, by the way, is great. But we'll have to see what Ork's ability is to continue pushing forward, whether it's just one turn. There is a mechanic to go back into a WOG, but I believe it's only for 1 unit, so we'll have to take a look through. Yep. For one turn, they are very strong, but after that, we'll have to see what they can do to carry pressure forward.
And it's start of battle round.
It is start of the battle round. So what that means is that if you go first, you get the WOG, you go forward, you can do your thing. Assuming you can cross the gap, we'll have to see. Assuming you can cross the gap, you can do your thing and have a 5-up invuln. If you go second, you can stay a turn behind walls, pop out on bottom of 2 in the center, then WOG at the start of your opponent's turn, get the 5-up invuln, and then on your following turn, have the advanced in charge. It was always a dilemma of do you want to WOG before you go to the center, or do you want to WOG after you've gone to the center? And if you WOG before you go to the center, you get a 5-up invuln, but you never get to your opponent, because you need that advanced in charge to actually initiate combats. And then from there, you follow up standard, it's fine. But you need that 1 turn of advance in charge to jump on your opponents. Yep. So you would never preemptively do it, right? You would walk up to the center, not take your 5-up invuln, take a hit to the face, and then get your 5-up invuln and your advance in charge and go in, because you needed the advance in charge so badly you couldn't just blow it for a 5-up invuln.
Yep.
This at least lets you go if you're going second. You get to hide, pop out, get the 5-up invuln on your opponent's go turn, and then advance and charge, and you get your stuff. I think that's really good. The second turn loss, we'll have to see how that affects them.
Definitely.
All right. So continuing down, we've got the Wog Tribe detachment rule. If your army faction is Orks, you can use this rule. And this is Old Goths. Melee weapons equipped by Orc models from your army have sustained hits. Probably the best trait in Old Orcs. Love that this is the one that they're starting with. Sustained hits is just insanely good value across the entire game.
Yeah, so now we're going to pay attention in the data sheets for volume of attacks in melee.
Yeah.
We're going to look at, wow, this is going to be a lot of attacks.
Yeah, and if something hits on a 3, and the way sustained hits works is if you don't have rerolls, it is functionally just +1 to hit. Right? So if you hit on 3s and you have exploding 6s, the math is identical to you hitting on 2s. So that is a way to think of it. If you hit on 2s, then you get 100% hits on average. It's a little spiky, but that's the average. It's functionally +1 to hit as long as you don't have rerolls. And if you do have rerolls, it is way better.
Yep.
So we'll look for rerolls and we'll look for quantity of attacks. But this is a very good rule. Love this. Orcs hit hard. They should hit harder. Love that. All right, stratagems. We've got Kareen. Kept Kareen, baby. Let's go. Kareen, after a vehicle unit with your deadly demise ability is destroyed, if you roll a 6, you can use that stratagem on it, and it can make a normal or fallback move before its deadly demise ability is resolved, and before anybody emergency disembarks. When making this move, your unit can move over enemy units, excluding monster vehicles, as if they were not there. This is much better. Much, much better.
Normal move?
A normal move. Not a 6-inch move, a normal move. So you just go whee off to the side, drop your knobs or whatever behind a building, and your opponent goes, uh-oh. Oh no.
It's very good because the degradation now is usually just -1 to hit and maybe a little bit loss of objective control, instead of your movement characteristic is 3 inches or something.
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
So this helps quite a bit in my opinion.
Yeah, I think trucks probably move 12. We'll see when we get there.
10 to 12, I'd imagine.
10 to 12, I would imagine. And then it just dies and goes 12 inches forward and drops, 10 knobs right in the center building. Again, I'm not 100% sure on what it transports, but whatever it transports is not going to be something your opponent's going to be happy about. Drop that in the center of the board and go, over to you, my good sir.
Well, especially because then if they charge you, you might have a character in the unit that pops out as well, and then they get heroic challenge in, and you can do some combo plays.
Yeah, well, no, they're battle shocked when you get out, unfortunately.
They are battle shocked.
They are battle shocked when you get out.
That's true. You can't use strats on that.
But on your turn, they unbattle shock, and then you can hold objectives.
Some factions have rules where you can use strats on them even if they're battle shocked. I've seen that a couple times throughout the indexes, so we'll look for that here.
Absolutely, because then you could be able to move forward, get out. We'll have to see if that's a thing. That would be very potent if they had it.
Yep.
But in general, you can go over and hold a new objective because you unbattle shock before you hold objectives. So I'm a big fan of Kareen. This is just going to be a wrench thrown right in the gears of your opponent's plan the moment it happens.
It was 1 CP in 9th?
Yeah, it was 1 CP, you moved 6.
I know most of their strats were 2 CP, and I don't know what they did.
Yeah, the funniest thing also is that you are exploding, right? You're exploding with this. So you just move 12, get it in the center of your opponent's army and go, everybody takes mortals. Because they can't even move block it. It moves over their units.
Yeah.
So it moves into the center of your opponent's army and goes, boom!
And like I said, it's a normal move. You're just moving whatever that characteristic is, which is awesome. It's way better. It's way better.
Yeah, though Kareen is awesome. It's so good. And it's on a 6.
You'd have to roll the 6, but when you do, baby.
But when you do, it just unlocks it, right? Because you've rolled a 6. So you only spend the CP when it's good. Old Kareen was very good. This is wildly better.
I wonder if there are ways to manipulate that in Orks.
That would be very funny. John McCardell gifted 50 Art of War memberships. Wow. What a hero. Wow.
Thank you so much, John McCardell. You are a hero, and every single time you are amazing to us. We love you.
Absolutely. Big heart.
Big heart.
Big
Orc heart.
Orc
Green heart.
Big green heart.
Big green heart, a little bit of red to go faster.
All right. Orcs is never beaten. 2 CP in the fight phase, just after they selected a target. They fight on death. So every model in your unit can fight on death.
Strong.
That is pretty miserable to deal with as a combat army. I will tell you that for free.
It was their best strat in 9th, and they're keeping it.
Yeah, and it used to only apply to a character. This is a unit.
Yeah, this is a unit.
Yeah, so a whole unit of Mega Knobs is just snip, 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 snip.
That is great.
Plus
I
a
will,
character.
I will spend 2 CP on that.
The G in gifts is not silent. Gifts!
Also, if anybody has received a gifted sub from the wonderful John McCardell, make sure that you accept it on your YouTube profile. You should get a notification or something where you can click accept, but I believe YouTube forces you to press a button to accept the benefits of the sub, which there are a lot of.
Thank you so much, John McCardell. You are a hero in my heart.
Thank you so much.
All right, Unbridled Carnage, which is what I want. One, you select a unit from your orc unit from your army in the fight phase, and then every time they make a melee attack, a modified hit roll 5+ scores a crit.
Sustained hits.
Okay.
Procking those sustained hits on 5s
That
and
was
6s.
a 2 CP Goff stratagem before, where you would explode on 5s instead of 6s. And I will be honest, that is going to be a button I press a lot. That
Press
is
the CP
insane.
button. So we're definitely looking at CP regen in this book. Where can we get extra CP? Where can we find it?
These strats are baller, man. And
They are.
I will say, if this has any rerolls, Unbridled Carnage is named
Gonna get
correctly.
insane.
Exploding 5s with rerolls is not super okay. I mean, in the best way. So
Can confirm this is not bridled carnage. This is unbridled.
no, there's no bridles on this Carnage. Big fan of that strat. That strat used to be 2 CP, and I would use it. So repeatedly. So this is amazing.
All right.
Especially if there's anything else that triggers off critical hits.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Not even just the exploding hits.
You got
like
lethal hits that could do it.
Yep.
There's probably some other crazy stuff.
Probably some other stuff. All right, Art as Nails, 1 CP, and your opponent's shooting your fight phase just after they've picked an orc unit as the target. You get -1 to wound, and you can't pick vehicles or Gretchen. That is very good. That's really good,
Strong.
actually.
Admech have the same strat basically, and that's the best strat that they have probably. So this is just, I don't want to die in combat, or my opponent undercommitted. They're not going to do as much as they thought.
Or shooting.
Or shooting.
Shooting. Yeah. So you can use
Better than the Admech strat. You can use it in shooting.
Yes. Your toughness, I think 6 Meganobs are just going to be -1 to wound in melee and shooting. Like, we saw that with Scorpex, right? And they were only T5. Sometimes it made them impossible to kill, especially if you're going with quantity of low strength attacks. It just goes, nope, sorry.
Yeah, you're like all of a sudden, nope.
Yep, Blade Guard run in, they're wounding on 6s. Get the heck out of here. Like, that is really good. So it looks like it's your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. So you can use it in your fight phase, your opponent's fight phase, or your opponent's shooting phase.
Which, those are all the times I want to use it.
Absolutely. I think we misread that on the Space Marine one. The Space Marine one is the same verbiage, and that means that you can use it in your own fight phase, because it's your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. Yeah, a bit weirdly worded, but that's how it works. Mob rule. 1 CP, 1 mob unit from your army that contains 10 or more models and not below half strength. Until the end of the phase, while a friendly Orcs infantry unit is within 6 inches of that mob unit, they can still be selected as the target of your stratagems, even if it is battle shot.
Boom. What did I call it?
You did. Called it. Now, this is a shot you have to call well in advance.
Yes.
And it's only in your command phase.
Yep.
But you know, if you...
For when you need to do tricksy stuff.
When you need to do tricksy stuff, you can't do the disembark and do strats.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but if you know there's a bunch of low strength units that need to go do their thing, mob rule, oh look, I battle shocked, oh no, anyway, strats.
Still I hit like a truck, or I'm going to fight on death when you didn't want me to.
Absolutely. And that's until the end of the phase?
And it's an aura within...
Wait, it's an aura, but it's only in the command phase.
Your command phase,
so
until the end of the phase. Oh, this has the same wording as a Votan strat, or as a Votan strat. They've done this a couple times in things. I believe this is supposed to be until either the end of the turn or end of battle rounds. It's literally a typo.
Yeah, that does sound correct.
Admech have one where they get judgment tokens on an objective until the end of the phase, which it starts in the command phase. So that doesn't make any sense. So expect this to be edited. Yeah,
I would expect that, because as it is currently written, it doesn't do a thing, because you get to select them for strats until the end of the command phase. Who cares? I would expect, I would agree. I expect that to be changed.
Yeah.
Here we go. Start of the movement phase.
Otherwise, it's so niche.
So here we go is amazing. You pick an infantry unit and it gets +2 advance, +2 charge.
Need to make that charge.
If you advance and charge, boy, does that make your unit fast.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's an insane strat. +2 advance, +2 charge also means you come out of reserves. You can make a 7-inch charge.
That's very good. They have awesome strats.
They have amazing strats.
is-
-1 to wound for any orc unit
How
other
you,
than vehicle
your
combat.
CP discipline's going to need to be very good.
Yes. Yes.
But
Because,
I would rather that problem than not having good strats.
yes, for sure. Kareen is insane when you roll the 6 and then you spend the CP on it. The rest of these are nuts. Unbridled Carnage hits like a truck. Art as Nails makes you insanely durable. Irrigo makes you very fast. And then Orks is Never Beaten is just, oh, are you a combat army? Sorry, bud.
I'm never beaten.
And I'm never beaten. You're not beating me. All right, let's get into the enhancements. Follow Me, lads, is while you're leading a unit, +2 move. So for +2 move, and then 1 CP, your +2 move, advance, and charge.
Nice.
That is a fast unit.
Seems like something a Mega Knobs leader would want.
You would think,
Make
right?
them really go fast.
Yeah, that sounds about right, wouldn't it? I think that they were movement 5 at least. We'll have to see if they go down to movement 4, which I'd be surprised. But that would make the movement 7. They advance +2, charge +2. They go really fast.
Solid buff.
Head Wappa's Kill Choppa. Melee weapons equipped by the bearer that do not have extra attacks have dev wounds. And there is a source of anti on melee weapons in this book.
Well, we're going to find that, yeah.
So Head Wappa's Kill Choppa, very solid.
Find that anti plus dev wounds combo and spam.
Yeah, the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, his weapons are anti-vehicle monster 4+.
So, Mortals on 4+. What's his damage characteristic?
2, I think.
Oh, still. It's 2.
Still, but like a lot of attacks.
Yep.
Cunning but brutal. While the bear's leading a unit, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. It's alright.
It's alright. Really depends on like how durable you can make a unit.
Yeah.
Or how good the shooting units are.
Absolutely. Super Cyborg Body gives the Fort Feel No Pain to an Orc model.
You loved your tough orc war bosses. That's a tough boy.
I really did.
Fort Feel No Pain is a heck of a drug.
It's a heck of a drug. You know what else? The Beast Boss on Squigosaur, which is my favorite unit in Orcs, full stop, from last edition, and probably this one too, I believe has a Feel No Pain 4+ inbuilt.
Yeah.
So you're going to be seeing those guys a lot.
Follow Me Lad stands out as that's the one I'm definitely going to take. The other ones are kind of
Yeah.
cool. Depends if I'm really need it.
Also depends on
if I want a
on
boss
points.
who like really smashes, then you'll go for the Kill Choppa.
If you run a Beast Boss on Squigosaur, as long as it's not too expensive, I anticipate you take Head Wappa's Kill Choppa because anti-dev wounds is just not super okay. Super Cyborg Body, I want to find an Orc model that's like not in a squad, and then give them Super Cyborg Body, and then they become like ludicrously tanky, so I'm big into that.
Yep.
And then Follow Me Lads, as you said, seems
That's the one that
mandatory.
I want that.
Yeah, I want that one real bad. All right, so getting right into it,
Ooh,
right at the core
vehicles.
of the army, we've got the Battle Wagon. Let's shrink that a little bit. All right, so we got the Battle Wagon. So this is Deadly Demise D6, and it moves 10. So if you blow this up, and you roll the 6, and it goes into the center of your opponent's army, game ends on the spot. So, it's pretty good. This is pretty
Firing
good.
deck 22.
Firing deck 22.
Cool.
So you can put whatever you want in there. And let's just double check. 22 Orc infantry models. If it's equipped with a kill cannon, blah, 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 it's 12. Every Mega Armor jump pack takes 2. And
The jump pack guys can go in here. A
They
lot of
can.
transports have been losing access to jump models going in.
Yep. And it can transport Gazgul. He takes up the space of 18. That's the same as it was before. I think they were 20 models. The reason it's 22, I assume, is 2 10-man squads plus 2 characters.
Yep.
But anything can go in this. So as long as it's infantry, which means any infantry we see, we can definitely look at and be like, wow, you can just put this in a battle wagon and it can just shoot. So big fan of that. Looking at its guns seem all right. They all hit on 5s, which is the reason why they're not busted, because D6 plus 3 at 922 is pretty good. But that's a kill cannon, which makes it less transporty.
Yep.
If you want to lose the firing deck ability, i.e. you're putting melee units in this, you can make it toughness 12 with Ard Case.
That's pretty solid.
That's
There's
pretty
not
solid.
that many strength 12 or higher guns that I've seen.
And it reduces incoming AP by 1.
That's very good.
The Battle Wagon is
Wow.
legitimately very tanky.
Yeah, with that and plus cover.
Yeah, plus cover. And you can't get to a 2-up with cover, unfortunately. But you can bounce AP2 on 3s. So that feels very solid.
That feels very strong.
Very, very strong. So the Battle Wagon, it was priced to move in 9th edition. It was like 100 and something points, like 120.
It's leadership 7+. That's not bad for orcs.
Yep.
Most of the game is 6 and 7.
And it can be equipped with any of the following, Ard Case, blah, 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 whatever. I don't believe it has a... here we go. Def Rolla. So tracks and wheels are garbage. Def Rolla is not as good as it used to be. But 6
Yeah.
attacks at 912, hitting on 3s with exploding 6s. Not bad.
AP1 is the iffy part.
Yeah, and you can be equipped with any of the following. So you can be equipped with a Grab and Claw for 2 extra attacks at Strength 8, AP 2, Damage 2, and a Wrecking Ball for 1 extra attack at Strength 10, AP 0, Damage D6. Weird profile.
It's really wrecking.
It's wrecking hard. I really like putting melee units in here and just making this thing impossible to kill and then giving it a bunch of melee weapons so it can contribute as well. Mm-hmm. So, big fan of this. I think Battle Wagon's amazing. Especially since if you roll a 6, like if you take a couple Battle Wagons, decent odds during the game, you roll a 6 and then it goes whee and just right in the center of your opponent's army. Love that. Especially in a melee matchup. Alright, Beast Snagger Boys. Really going alphabetical like. These guys got they're back to move 6.
And their battle line.
They are battle line. They are back to movement 6. So Ork boys look like they move 6. Love that. That was really annoying last edition. I'll be 100% with you. They moved 5 and it was like, why are we doing this? Every time they make an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, you re-roll hits. And then if you have exploding 5s, that is a lot of attacks.
That's awesome.
Absolutely a lot of attacks. Now we don't have a way to give them like lethal hits or something, so they are just wounding most vehicles on 6s. We'll have to look and see if there's any buffs that can make them better at killing vehicles.
Isn't there a Beast Snagger character?
There is. We'll have to see what he does. Yeah, he'll be the Beast Boss, so I assume he'll be up soon.
So Orks keeping that T5, and these guys are OC2 battle lines, so great objective control.
Great objective control. And they get a 6-up Feel No Pain. They lost their Invuln. So they lost their Invuln. Beast Snaggers look like they lost their Invuln, but they got a Feel No Pain instead. Which means in the Wog turn they're just better. And they also got a 5-up save instead of a 6-up save. And if they're in cover, they get a 4-up. Which is 4-up with 6-up Feel No Pain, Toughness 5, is hard to kill in quantity, which is what you're looking for in Orks. You're not looking to make each model durable, you're looking to make it annoying to chew through your whole army. Yeah. Love these guys. These guys are great.
Rerolls is awesome.
Rerolls to hit, but only on only on durable stuff.
Enviously looking at rerolls on a data sheet.
Woo! Yeah, rerolls plus exploding 6s means these guys are going to pump a lot of attacks into vehicles. We just need to find a way to make them good at actually wounding them too. All right, so we've got a couple super chats here. We've got $5 super chat from Knobs Burgers. Love that name. Love that name. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I love that name so much.
Thanks so much for your super chat. Hope you're enjoying this one.
$10 super chat from Super Baharoth. Happy Flash Gits Day. Jack and I are happy. Yep. We might be getting some Flash Gits in the near future. They look quite strong.
Where's Black Onion as well?
Black Onion, where are you? Where you at? And then Jimmy Guy, $10 super chat. Sorry, I know this is an Ork question, but what do you think is looking more competitive, Grey Knights or Custodes? Ultimately, it always comes down to points.
Yep.
Always. Because you can take a good rule, overprice it. You can take a bad rule, underprice it. Just how it works.
Yep.
So ultimately, we don't know. Grey Knights have some insane rules and some middling data sheets. Is that correct?
Yeah, Custodians have some great data sheets.
They have some great data sheets and some good rules. So we'll have to see.
Yep, we'll see. Custodians will depend on Forge World, but thanks so much, everybody, for the super chats. Let's dive into the Beast Boss here.
Let's Beast Boss. This guy can join Beast Snagger Boys, so let's see. So he moves 6 as well. Love that. Thank you.
4-up save.
4-up save, 5-up Invuln, 6-up Feel No Pain with 5 wounds. They're not easy to kill. He has a Beast Choppa, which is anti-monster vehicle 4+, with a decent number of attacks. And then he has or he can take a Beast Snagger Claw, which is just higher strength, fewer attacks, and worse hit. Probably the Beast Choppa.
And you see all that anti in there. That combos really nicely when you give it dead wounds with the Choppa.
Absolutely. While he's leading a unit, you get +1 to hit, and each time he makes a charge move, melee weapons it's equipped with have dev wounds.
His unit? Or
no,
just
him. Just him. Okay. Each time this model makes a charge move.
But the unit he's leading gets +1 to hit?
That's right.
With full rerolls?
With full rerolls to hit against monsters and vehicles.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm pretty sure he will do most of the damage. They will wound most vehicles on 6s, which is kind of middling, but man, they have a lot of rerolls.
A lot of attacks, too.
A lot of attacks. And then +1 attack on the charge, +1 strength. The +1 strength will get them to wounding most vehicles on 5s. Yep. That will help because... oh my god, are they going to have so many hits. Beast Boss on Squigosaur, literally my favorite model in Orks. I will always run one until the end of time.
T10.
Toughness 10, 3-up save, 5-up Invuln with 9 wounds, movement 10, and a 4-up Feel No Pain. Stock.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
He's on a Squigosaur, man. You can't kill that easy. But you can just shoot him. You can just shoot him.
Yep, no lone operative, no bodyguard role.
Nope. While a friendly beast snagging unit is within 6 inches, you can reroll charge rolls. Love that. And you can target him with a heroic intervention stratagem for 1 CP, and can do so even if you've already targeted a different unit.
Nice.
Like that.
So this guy's just a beat stick. He's just going to run in and smash things up.
Absolutely.
Be hard to deal with.
Absolutely. Love him for that. Beast Chop, so the Squigsaur's Jaws are extra attacks, so do not get the benefit of Edwap's Kill Chopper. If you take it, I would recommend taking it. But they are devastating wounds with 3 attacks. They hit on 4s at strength 7, AP 2, damage 3. So they hit on 4s, which is a bit middling, but they have exploding 6s. So that is quite good. And then Beast Chopper is 6 attacks at 6, 1, 2. With anti-monster 4+, anti-vehicle 4+, and then he gets devastating wounds on that with Edwapa's Kill Chopper, and then +1 attack and +1 strength, and bang.
This is the exact type of model you want on Sites of Power. Just a durable character that can just survive on objectives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he is not a leader, but he is super tanky. Like, toughness 10 with a 4 up, feel no pain, and an invuln and an armor save is just not fun. This guy will be
3-up.
Yeah, he'll be getting cover a lot of the time. Yeah, he used to be a 4-up. He used to be a 4-up, 5-up.
Looks like +1 save across the board.
Yeah, which, thank you. Thank you so much. It's going to make a huge difference, especially since AP has come down.
Yep.
Zlack Onion, $5 super chat. There you are. Flash Gits, Battle Wagon, Mech, Badruck, Party Wagon. Of course, of course.
We're going to talk about the Flash Gits. Yep. Captain Badruck.
Yep, Beast Boss.
Thanks so much.
Oh, Beast Boss gets both melee weapons. Yeah, he just gets both. Because he has both. So you can just choose which one's better into which targets. Love that. All right, Big Mech in Mega Armor. While he's leading a unit, so he can join Mega Knobs. That's what he can join. While he's leading a unit, this is my take, I think, for the best leader for Mega Knobs, weirdly enough. While he's leading a unit, you get to reroll hit rolls of 1, range attacks, whatever, who cares. While he's leading a unit, you return 1 destroyed bodyguard to the unit every turn.
That's good. That's good.
And then while he's leading a unit, they get a 4-up invuln against ranged attacks. Very good. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, 1 model in the unit regains D3 lost wounds.
Awesome. He gets all of those? He gets both War Gear upgrades?
War Gear abilities. He can be equipped with one of the following. Not a teleport blaster or custom force field. So he gets the Grot Oiler, and he can take a KFF. Yes.
Yep. So.
And then he can get a combat weapon, like a Kill Saw, hits pretty dang hard.
Yeah, 4-up invuln against shooting, and you heal models back.
Yeah.
That is.
And you can be -1 to wound.
Really good. Yep.
Yeah. So you can make a Mega Knob unit.
Looks like they're T6 now.
Super annoying to kill. Yeah, that I assume they would, and that is a welcome change. And he's not super easy to kill.
You're just not going to die to any anti-infantry weapon now. You have to put legitimate anti-tank.
Yeah, absolutely. As you should. They are tanks. Big Mech with KFF. While he's leading a unit, they reroll hit rolls of 1 in shooting. Whatever. Hitting on 5s doesn't really combo well with reroll hit rolls of 1. While he's leading a unit, models in that unit have a 5-up invuln against ranged attacks, and once per battle at the start of the phase, this model can overcharge, and if it does so, they get a 4-up invuln against ranged attacks. It's fine.
What can he join?
He can join Boys, Burner Boys, Tank Busters, Ludas, and Knobs.
Okay, so Tank Busters and Ludas if you really want to try and keep him alive.
Yep. Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun has a pretty good weapon. It's blast heavy with D6 plus 1 shots.
That's nice.
Hitting on 5s, so it goes to hitting on 4s. Strength 9, AP 4, damage D6. And while he's leading a unit, they reroll hit rolls of 1 in ranged attacks. I believe Ludas give a reroll to hit to themselves. So if he joins Ludas, which I believe that he can, he will then reroll hits on this, which is real good. And then once, after you model shot, every time you pick an enemy unit hit by his attacks, then take a battle shock test.
Okay.
Once a battle, after you roll the number of shots he has, you can reroll it, which helps quite a bit.
Yep, definitely does. It's
Okay.
not a bad profile. Really comes down to the cost if you want him or not.
The Big Ed Boss Bunka he gives cover while friendly Orks unit is within 6, improve their leadership by 1, not bad. While an enemy unit is within engaged, it's a fortification.
Yeah,
it's literally just the shout and pole, and then it has a gun that is very funny. One shot, sustained hits D3, hits on a 5,
Dev wounds.
12 AP4 damage 3, no dev wounds. No dev wounds.
Oh, no difference.
That's just sustained hits.
Yeah.
Looks like D3. It's some gunk on there. All right. Yeah. It's it's a meme. If you hit with it, you hit with it. It's 18-inch range.
I've never
anti-tank.
even seen this thing.
You will never see it again. You've seen it for the last time.
What does it say right above that?
Transport.
It's a transport
capacity. Yeah, then get in the Big Ed Boss Bunker. Whatever, who cares? I don't care about that. We're moving on. All right, Snagga on the Barbie with a $5.50 super chat. Wah Silent G, loving the video, guys. Looking forward to a good scrap this edition. Hoping for some decent shooting options. Stay tuned. There are some decent shooting options in here.
Thanks so much for your support.
All right, so the Blitz Obama has a bunch of guns that are, they reroll wounds, which is cute, but they hit on 5s with exploding 6s, so functionally on 4s. How many guns does it have? You used to have like 6. Oh, it just has 1 twin super shooter. Yeah, I'm not super into that. It's mostly about the bomb.
It doesn't have hover to start on the table.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of the other flyer, the Daka Jet. The Blitz Obama, each time it ends a normal move, you select an enemy unit moved over and roll a d6 on a 4. They take d6 mortals. I don't think you're going to see this thing. It doesn't shoot hard. It can just do 0 damage with its bombs.
And it can't hover, so you can't start on the table with it.
Exactly.
So it comes in, sits there, and dies.
Yeah, probably. It's toughness 9, which is like fine, but it's a 3 of save. Just cute.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Boom Daka Snazwagon. Snazwagon. So buggies look like toughness 7, which is pretty low. I'd expect them to be fairly cheap. Now, they come in units of 1 now, so if you have 9 squig buggies in your collection, I have bad news for you. But you just convert them up to be Boom Daka Snazwagons or whatever the other ones are. I can never remember their name. They all sound like the Key and Peele East-West Bowl sketch to me. So he has an aura while an enemy unit's within 6 inches model every time they make an attack -1 to hit. It's a pretty good rule. It's a pretty good rule. You put it in the center of your melee army, and then everybody's just -1 to hit you because of the dust.
It's shooting and combat.
Combat. Love that. Its guns are fine. Rapid fire 4, so it goes to 16 shots inside 12, or 12 outside of that. Sustained hits 1. Hits on a 5 at 5-1-1. I assume this thing will be fairly cheap.
Yeah,
because it doesn't do a hell of a lot.
To get that -1.
Yeah, the -1, really, you're doing the -1. -1 to hit, though, is a good rule to put on your opponents.
Yep, especially armies that don't have rerolls.
Hey, let's go to Boss Snickrot. He hits fairly hard because he's precision twin linked with the extra attacks and exploding 6s, so love that. While he's leading a unit, they get cover. Once per battle in your movement phase, you can, instead of making a normal move, you pick it up from the battlefield and set it up more than 9 inches away from all enemy models. This one's better than a lot of the ones we've seen where you pick it up at the end of your opponent's turn because you get to flip over your cards, see what you need to do, and then pull them.
Yep.
So if you know, I need to be over there to score my secondaries, then you can pick them up and put them. But if you don't have to preemptively pull them, then flip your cards and go, I didn't need to use it. All right, they go back there. They also have infiltrators, and I assume gives them infiltrators, and they have stealth. They get a 5-up save. They don't get +2 armor save if they're in cover. So they don't go to, they used to have a 6-up goes to a 3-up. They don't have that. They'll go to a 4-up. But they do have stealth. So -1 to hit. He does have grenades. He hits kind of hard. I would assume he's priced to move because his buffs are kind of mediocre. But he is really cool for getting in there and just ganking a character.
Yep.
All right. He can lead commandos, obviously. Zagstruck was one of the best characters in the last book. Let's see how he fared. 6 attacks goes to 7 at 8-2-2, hitting on 2s. That is a good profile.
Yep,
that is a very good offensive profile because you also have exploding 6s, so that's quite solid. He gives a +1 to hit to his unit, which is almost certainly Storm Boys. Look at that. You can reroll charge rolls for this model's unit in a turn, which is set up on the battlefield from reserves. Not really feel like banging 9-inch charges, if I'm being real with you.
9-inch with the reroll, though.
But he hits hard. He has a feel no pain 6+. He has 6 wounds with toughness 5. He's not easy to kill. He's a 5-up invuln. He gives +1 to hit to his unit, so he ignores a -1, and his unit will just get +1. So I think same with Boss Snickrot, right? If Zagstruck is priced to move, I really want him in my list because he's just a good beat stick character. But if he's a little expensive, I'd probably leave him at home.
It's interesting. A lot of characters across the game, especially the smaller ones, started losing wounds, but it looks like Orks are at least staying pretty consistent, right?
Yes, yeah. Though that's pretty sweet. Yeah, 6 wounds on all these. Orks are not easy to kill, man. Super Baharoth with a $5 super chat. How many of these data sheets are dead on arrival because they don't gel with 30 flash gets and Badruck? I mean, if you're not 30 flash gets and Badruck, what are you doing? I legitimately think 10 flash gets plus Badruck is very good, though.
Well, we will get there. Thank you so much for the super chat. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh, it is a 7-inch with a reroll with the strat. There we go. So that is quite good. If you deep strike in, I don't know if it's in the command phase, you have to call it. If it is, then you can't do it. But you do get to come in 1 CP, 7-inch rerollable, which is not bad. That's legitimately not bad. You can also rapid ingress them, because they were deep strike. You can rapid ingress in a place your opponent can't see, jump forward 12, and charge, which I think is probably stronger.
Yeah.
Boys.
Regular boys.
These guys have gotten a glow up as well. They move 6, same as the Beast Snagger boys, and they get +1 to their save. 2 OC is really good, toughness 5. While a war boss is leading this unit, first time battle shock test is failed. If it is in range of objective marker, 1 bodyguard model in this unit is destroyed, and you reroll the test. It's fine. It's fine. They have a lot of attacks.
Yep.
But that rule is kind of mediocre. It's definitely no reroll hits. And they also don't have a 6 up Feel No Pain, but these guys are probably going to be cheap and cheerful and just running across the board, coming out of transports. Probably going to be a very good thing to put in a lot of these transports. Although I really like the look of mobs. It does have that mob
keyword to interact with the mob rule.
It does. It absolutely does. So I'm looking forward to playing with these boys and just swarming people with 1,000,000 attacks. Because Choppas are, go to 4 attacks at strength 5, AP 1, damage 1 with exploding 6s. So that is quite solid.
Yep.
You can get a whole bunch of weapons in here. You can get a big Choppa. You can get a combi weapon, close combo weapon. You can try and get them out to shoot, but I'd probably still just slay in combat. Mm-hmm. And, you can attach 2 leaders to it instead of 1 if it's a starting strength of 20. That's pretty good. Burner Boys. All right, that means you can give them a 4 involving against shooting if you include the right model.
The Big Mech?
Yep. Burner Boys, they all have Burnos, which are just flamers. Ignores cover torrent, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Every time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, the target's enemy unit within 6, reroll wound rolls of 1. If the target is in range of inject marker, you reroll the wound roll fully. Yep. And then this is an Overwatch threat. You can put this in a battle wagon, roll up, and just whoosh!
Flame town.
Yep.
I really like small flamer squads to just beat up on your opponent's chaff units.
Yep. Spanner gets the sergeant basically gets a big shooter, a custom mega blaster, or a rocket launcher. Probably the rocket launcher because blast is pretty solid and a decent profile too.
Some flat 3 damage in there.
Yeah. Big fan of this unit. Auto hitting really gets past a lot of the
also,
the problems Orks have.
The reroll wounds on
reroll wounds is great.
Yeah,
you just rock up, you shoot them, and then you're
consistent.
like, "Would you like to move?" Because if you would like to move, I have a CP for you.
Yeah.
And then in combat, they go to 3 attacks at strength 5, AP 2, damage 1 with their cut and flame, so they do hit. All right, the Burner Bomber. It has some guns that are fine, and then each time it ends a normal move, you select an enemy unit moved over. Models in that unit cannot get benefit of cover, and you roll a die for every model in the unit. On a 6, they take a mortal wound. Not super impressed with this. Yeah. Probably would go elsewhere.
Probably.
The Daka Jet. How many Dakas does it jet? 2 twin super shooters, and it can get an additional twin super shooter. So twin super shooter is 6 shots with an 18, with sustained hits 1 and twin linked. So that's 18 shots. Hit on 5s, exploding 6s, reroll wounds. Probably not worth it. But every time it makes a ranged attack, every successful hit roll scores a crit. So that is pretty fun. You just show up and you fire 18 shots. You roll 6 hits. That's 12 hits. You reroll your wound rolls. It's a decent anti-infantry piece. If there's some way to give it +1 to hit, then I think it's actually not bad because then it's 18 hits with reroll wounds.
Yep.
But I don't think there is.
Probably not. Yeah.
Andrew Middlemas with a $7 super chat. Whoa! Get stuck in, lads. Where goes the Walker Evilus sit in your preferred playstyle? We killing Des Cans and stomping them Moomies? We'll see. I actually haven't read those yet, so we'll take a look at them.
We'll take a look. But thanks so much for your super chat. We will get to the Walkers soon.
Thank you so much. Pokemon99, if you want a link for the data sheets, I posted it up there right at the start of the stream, so you can just scroll all the way back up. All right, Death Dread. Well, good, good time for that after we got a super chat about it. So at the start of the fight phase, every enemy unit in the engagement range takes a battle shock test, as they should. You're very scary. And it has a 2-up save, moves 8, a toughness 9 with 8 wounds. It avoided the scourge of all the dreadnoughts where they had a 6-inch move instead. This one moves 8. And then in combat, in shooting, you can take as many guns as you want. You can take 4 guns if you want. You can take 4 Scorchas, which are heavy flamer. You can take 4 heavy flamers on this thing. That's kind of funny. You can take 4 rocket launchers and fire 4 D3 blast weapons. They hit on 5s. But that's kind of funny. I think what you're going to want to do is you want to give them a whole bunch of Dreadclaws. So the attack's characteristic increases by 1 for every additional Dreadclaw this model is equipped with. So if you have 4 Dreadclaws, you will make 7 attacks base, because 4 plus 3 additional. And then you'll make 8 on the charge at strength 11, AP2 damage 3 with additional attacks, or with extra hits. So that's pretty solid. It's a good melee piece.
Yep, definitely solid. And it's not going to die to anti-infantry fire anymore. You actually have to put anti-tank. So you're trying to threat overload with all this.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff that's not really worth Bright Lances, but needs Bright Lances, I think is where you really want to be. All right, the Death Killer Wartrike. This is basically a war boss on a big bike. So it's toughness 6. So I think you got to glow down a bit because he's no longer a vehicle. He's mounted, which makes him a lot harder to deal with for some people.
There's not a lot of anti-mounted though in the game.
Yes, and he is a leader, which is interesting because his base is gigantic. What does he lead? He leads war bikers.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. His base is huge, so he can base in, and everyone can base off the back of him and all fight through him. I think that's going to be a huge buff for that combat unit. While he's leading a unit, they get +1 to hit, same as all the other war bosses. Every time the smallest unit advance, they just move 6, so they're going to be incredibly fast.
Yeah, that advance and charge turn is awesome on them.
Yeah, they go 18 and just charge. Sweet, love that. In combat, he doesn't hit soft, but he only has 4 attacks at 10, 2, 2, so we go to 5 attacks. He gets +1 to hit, so he'll hit on 2s with exploding 6s at strength 11. That's a good profile. Weird he doesn't have that many attacks, but whatever. And then in shooting, he has a melt to shot that hits on 5s, or more likely just uses his flamer.
Orks have better leadership than Votan.
Lead 6.
This guy's like, what?
Woo! All right, Super Baharoth with a $5 super chat. Badruck and I pooled together for this one for some soup after you lose your voice talking all day with all these indexes. Also, Wraith Knights are crazy. Yes, Wraith Knights
Aldari coming up soon.
Are in fact crazy. All right, moving on to Def Coptas. Their toughness 6 with a 4-up, 6-up invuln, which is interesting. I like having invuln on them. 4 wounds, no longer -1 damage against a bunch of stuff, so I really want them to be cheaper. Every time they end a normal move, you can select an enemy unit moved over, and for every 4, roll die for every model in the Def Copta unit. Every 4-up, they take a mortal wound. They only move 12. They fly, but flies kind of sucks now. So I'm not super impressed with these guys. Their attacks are no longer really good in combat. Now they're just quantity. So their copter rockets are twin-linked, which means they still have the same number of shots as a regular rocket. I wish they had doubled the shots like it used to be. But I think the unit's a decent fast-moving unit, decent deep strike.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have that much offense.
That's what I'm looking for here is cheap unit that can just come in, get me engage points, get me behind enemy lines. Don't have to worry about doing it with other units.
Absolutely. All right, Flash Kids, the star of the show. I think these guys are actually really good.
Tell us about them.
All right, so they have a general knob stat line, and they have a snaz gun, which is heavy and sustained hits 1, with 3 shots, ballistic skill 5, 6, 1, 2. That's not a great profile. Don't worry, it gets better. Each time on this unit targets the closest eligible unit. They have attack characteristic of 4 with their shooting weapons. So a unit of 10 of these guys is 40 shots. All right, that's still not great. You add Badruck in there. I'm gonna jump the gun a little bit. You add Badruck in there, you reroll hits. All of a sudden, you are firing a lot of shots with reroll hits and exploding 6s. Hitting on 5s is going to be, I believe, more than 50% hits. That's a lot. That is a lot. Because if they hit on 4s, it is 100% hit on average. Mm-hmm. Hitting on 4s, full rerolls, exploding 6s is 100% hits on average. That's a lot of shots. If you're standing still, it's incredible. On Overwatch, these guys are also insane because 40 shots hitting on 6s.
Lethal hits.
Exploding 6s to hit with full rerolls is going to be like 25 hits or something like 24. You can't get 25, but like 24 hits at 612. That is nasty. And then once a game, they can get lethal hits. That's really strong.
Yep.
This unit is very good. No joke. No cap.
Hilarious. It's amazing in the mirror matchup where you just obliterate all those with just volume of fire.
Yeah, 1 CP kill a unit.
Yeah.
Just, sorry, you're dead. Yeah, this unit is really good. I think this unit is legitimately very, very good because it pumps a ton of shots. Badrick gives it reroll hits, and it has a good profile.
Mm-hmm. For the first time.
First time ever. First time ever. All right, let's go to Gazgul. He became infantry. He's the size of a dreadnought. He's bigger than a dreadnought. He is infantry now at toughness 6, so he joins Mega Knobs, which is why he went down to toughness 6, and that's why he became infantry. His shooting is nothing crazy, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's 501. His profile is legitimately pretty damn good for a leader. 10 wounds for a leader is a lot. You're not sniping this dude out. He's toughness 6 with a 2-up save. Makari in the unit does some cool rules, but only has 1 wound. But him and Makari can go in a battle wagon together. Love that. In combat, he is not messing around. He'll have 7 attacks on the charge at strength 15, AP 3, damage 4, with exploding 6s to hit. And then, while he's leading a unit, you add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll. So he will kill you. Biggest glow up flash kits or breachers? From Zlack Onion, $2 super chat.
Tau breachers or the AdMech ones?
Either way, it's got to be flash kits.
Breachers are hilariously the best data sheet in AdMech by like a mile. Whereas you actually have other good data sheets.
That's true.
I'm going to go with breachers.
All right. Well, I think flash kits were one of the bottom 10 units in the game.
That's fair.
And I think they are very good now.
Both of them are dramatically improved.
Absolutely. Makari's stab is 1 attack with dev wounds.
2 invuln? A 2-up invuln?
He has a 2-up invuln on Makari, but you cannot re-roll it, and he has 1 wound. So that's what he used to have. He would just have a 2-up. Well, you could re-roll it, but the first time you fail it, he died.
Yeah.
While this model is leading a unit, they get +1 to hit and +1 wound, which means they're going to kill everything they touch. And then while a friendly Orks unit is within 12 inches of Makari, if you've called a Wog this battle round, melee weapons get lethal hits. There's the lethal hits for your Beast Snagga boys. 12-inch aura of lethal hits.
That's really good.
Plus full rerolls to hit on Beast Snaggas means they're going to put vehicles to sleep fast. But generally, lethal hits is just insane, and having that once a game is really good. If you call the Wog this battle round, that's really good.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how much he costs. He is a pure offensive buff. He's not a defensive one, but boy, his stats are strong.
Yeah, him in a Meganobs unit is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Yep, and -1 to wound. The Gorkanaut, I'm sure, does a thing. Probably even a thing you want. Maybe a thing you want. Fires a lot of shots.
T12, 3-up save.
It is towering, so it can see the whole board most of the time. And then it has a Claw of Gork that hits like a freight train. This thing's basically a knight. You know, toughness 12. It moves 8, which kind of sucks. But every time it makes a normal advance or fallback, moves over enemy models, and terrain features less than 4 inches. And every time it makes a melee attack, it gets +1 to hit if you've called the Wog. Whatever. Its guns all hit on 5s. I mean, I'm assuming it has a lot of them. 2 twin big shooters, 2 rocket launches, a Scorch, and a Deathstorm mega shooter, which is 611 with 30 shots inside 18. I don't really know what this thing would have to cost to make me want to take it, to be honest with you. There is a number, but it's not a number they're going to make it, so who cares? I want to just take Meganobs anyway. Gretchen. Their toughness 2. Nice. You roll a d6 for every objective marker you control that has 1 or more units from this with this ability within range of it, and on a 4 you gain a CP.
They are OC2,
If
though. 1
or more of these rolls is a 4+, you gain a CP. So you can only gain up to 1 CP. You can only gain up to 1 CP anyway. While this unit contains 1 or more Gretchen models, they count as having a toughness of 2 on the Runt Herd, but if you kill all the Gretchen, not the Runt Herd, it goes up to toughness 5.
Yay.
These guys are cheap.
They're OC2, so that is really nice.
Oh, they are OC2.
Yeah,
Yeah, these guys hold
surprising.
objectives really well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still taking Gretchen. Well, that. All right, the Hunter Rig. The son in the Don't Talk to Me or My Son Ever Again that the Kill Rig had. Kill Rig was just better last edition, but the Hunter Rig was cheaper. Moves 10, not 12. It's toughness 10, which is a little low, honestly. I would have thought it would be like... It used to be toughness 8, so I would assume it would be 11 or 12. 16 wounds with a 3-up is quite good, though. It has Feel No Pain 6+ on a vehicle, which I like. Firing deck 21, but you can't put anything in it that can shoot. It's just Beast Snag infantry with their pistols. But it's not terrible. If it's destroyed, you can re-roll the dice when determining if a disembarking model suffers mortal wounds, which means you almost will never suffer mortal wounds, because it's essentially a 2-up re-roll. And then the Stick Cannon hits on a 5, is anti-monster vehicle 2+, which is pretty cute, but it hits on a 5. If it scores a hit against a monster or vehicle, the bearer is +2 to charge them, which is funny. Evi Lava is indirect fire, but not in the same way that like Desolators are, where it'll kill stuff. It'll just like chip wounds. In combat, though, is where it used to make its money. It has 6 attacks at strength 10, AP 1, damage 2, with exploding 6s. It has 4 attacks at 8-1-3 with +1 to wound, like that. Mm-hmm. And then Butcher Boys are anti-monster vehicle 4+, which is pretty dope. This thing's a generic stat ball, and if it has the stats to just be spammed, I think you will. If it has the stats to be like efficiently durable for its cost, It hits kind of hard. It doesn't hit super hard. It doesn't have... We'll see the kill rig if it has the shooting it used to, but yeah. I could see the hunter rig showing up.
Captain Badrock.
Badrock! So he has some ludicrous rules. He goes in with flash gets, and he gives them reroll hits while they make ranged attacks. That is pretty gross with a unit with sustained hits. And his gun is sustained hits 1, 3 shots at 833. So, damn. And then while an enemy infantry unit is within 6 inches of this model, his uranium ammo gives them -1 toughness.
Yeah, he's a very interesting character.
Yeah, he not only buffs your melee by walking up there and being like, hey, you're -1 toughness and I'm charging you. He also gives flash gets the ability to shoot insanely hard, and he shoots pretty hard. Love this guy. This guy's great. Captain Badrock, good for the first time in forever.
Right, here he is. The
kill rig is, instead of rerolling the dice to determine if you take mortals, which I don't particularly care about, at the start of the fight phase, you select a friendly Orks. Oh, hold on. How many models did the hunter rig? It holds 21. Okay, that is the reason why you take it. It's because it holds 21 infantry models. Do like that. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one friendly Orks unit within 12 inches of this model, and on a 1, the kill rig takes D3 mortals. On a 2 through a 5, +1 strength, and on a 6, +1 strength, and they get lethal hits. It's a good buff. That's a really good buff. Its stats are the same to the hunter rig, and everything is the same as the hunter rig, except it has a D3 shot, auto hitting, strength 12, AP 3, damage D6. Oh man, love that. Just has the word tower back. The word tower that killed Angron in one shooting phase. Booyaka Shah. That gun is really good. Just auto hits at a very high, strength. That thing is good. We'll have to see how much it costs.
Doesn't have the invuln, but has the 6 of Pain, so the 5 of invuln turn will be important.
Yes, the 5 of invuln turn this thing's going to be very difficult to kill. I'm actually a big fan of the kill rig still. It moves 10, not 12. It's no longer a character, but that doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't give up Assassinate.
Yep, doesn't give up Assassinate. It used to be that's why it got access to Advance and Charge, because it was a character. Now all Orks just do. All right, Chief 104, welcome to the War Room Bronze. Glad to have you here.
Welcome.
All right. Killicans.
All right, here's the other walker.
Ballistic skill 4. That's pretty nice. Each time this unit is selected to shoot, on a 1, the nearest other Orks unit within 12 invisible suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 2-up, they get ignores cover.
Ignores cover is a very important rule because of how easy it is to get cover.
Yes, and you can do this on Overwatch as well. And they can each have a Scorcha. So that's a pretty scary Overwatch threat. Or you give them rocket launches, which are probably the best rocket launches in the book, because they hit on 4s.
Yep.
They're only toughness 6 with their 3-up with 5 wounds. So I would imagine they are very cheap. And you can just take a bunch of rocket launches. If they're even remotely expensive, I am not taking this at all. Toughness 6, please. I have other toughness 6 models that I want to take.
But they're walkers, so you could heroic challenge them too.
If they are cheap, then now we're talking. In combat, they do actually hit not unhard,
Yep, strength 8, AP 2, 3 damage. Not bad.
And they go up to 4 attacks at strength 9, and they explode 6s. Love that. All right. Yeah.
What is before you go, what does the kill rig explode at? Because we're thinking of the Korean strat.
D6.
D6, okay.
It's not bad. Like, we're looking for like a D3 plus 3 to end the game on the spot. Commandos, they infiltrate. Your opponent cannot use Fire Overwatch against them, which is a very useful thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to just get up on somebody with flamers. Once per battle, in your opponent's shooting phase, you deploy the Distraction Grot. You!
Go, Grot.
Go, Grot. And they get a 5-up invuln. Love that. Once per battle, after this unit ends a normal move. So some things have a bomb squig. It is basically the same thing. You pick an enemy unit, then 12, roll a d6. On 2-up, they take d3. Used to be a 3-up. It's just a 2-up now. Never required line of sight, so it still doesn't. Bomb squigs are great. They are very, very good. Super Baharoth with a $5 super chat. Similar to the guy who always asks for a Relic Pistol tier list. I'm confused what my purpose will be now that gits are good. Maybe enjoy them. You deserve this, buddy. You deserve this. They hit pretty hard. The Breacher Ram is really nice when you have those WOG extra attacks. Choppas are good. Power Claw good. Big Choppa, pretty good. They have a bunch of random weapons in there. I hope you... The kit to put these guys together, by the way, is misery. It is so bad to use. Somebody on like Warhammer Instructions has a color-coded guide that made my life way easier. And yeah, you get a whole bunch of random nonsense in that unit, which I think which I like quite a bit.
Grenades as well.
They come in at 10-man. There's no taking a 5-man anymore, which is a bit unfortunate, but such is life. Custom Boosta Blasta has a decent gun, 9 shots. It only hits on 5s, though, at 812. Orc shooting hitting on 5s. It's so bad. But a lot of shots, at least. After them all shot, you pick an enemy unit hit by one or more of these attacks, and they get their -1 to hit going forward, which is decent. These guys are cheap. You might take one and be like, hey, your cool unit's -1 to hit.
Yep.
All right, Ludas. You reroll hits if you target a unit on an objective. Otherwise, your hit rolls a 1. So you slap the guy in there that has the super gun that doesn't reroll hits, and now it does. Def guns are rapid fire 1 with 48-inch range, so 2 shots out to 48 and 3 shots inside 24. Hitting on 6s, but heavy, and rerolling hits. They really like standing still.
Yeah.
If you have the dude in the unit and you target something on an objective and you stand still, the unit will actually output a lot of damage. If you don't stand still, you're not really going to.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because hitting on 6s is just...
Yeah, remain stationary is just not a thing. You need to be moving, generally.
Yeah. You can take these guys to sit on your backfield and look at an objective in the open and just be like, who wants some?
Yeah.
But you probably don't. You get a spanner who has like a rocket launcher or something, which is pretty good with real hits. So I'm not against that. All right, Mad Doc Grotznik. His unit has a 5 at Finland Pain. Mm-hmm. That's real good. And they're able to declare a charge in a turn in which they fell back because he is crazy.
He is crazy.
He is crazy. He has 1 extra attack with anti-infantry 4+, extra attacks and precision. He's trying to give you your flu shot. And he has a Power Claw, which has sustained hits 1 for literally no reason.
Can you just go in regular boys?
He can go in boys, burner boys, tank busters, ludas, and knobs. Knobs is probably where I want him.
Yeah, probably.
Get that extra wound.
All right, here they are, the Mega Knobs.
Mega Knobs. So they hit really hard. They love those exploding 6s because they just hit on 4s. They're +1 to hit if you have somebody in the unit. If you have Gazgul in the unit, it's +1 to hit, +1 to wound, which is really good.
AP3.
They went up a toughness, and they have access to -1 to wound, so they are substantially harder to kill than they were before. Love that. They have a gun, which is fine, but it hits on 5s. I don't care. Their combat hits on 4s with exploding 6s and has many ways to get +1 to hit, and is really good. I mean, not that many attacks. You probably take the twin kill saw, and then you really want to be hitting on the log turn, so you reroll wounds.
Dev wounds.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I really hate that they have 2 attacks each, or 3 on the Power Claw. I will say on the charge, the Power Claw, or on the log turn, the Power Claw is pretty nasty. 4 attacks at strength 10. That's pretty good. I do like the rerolls, though. 3 attacks at strength 13, reroll to wound on the twin kill saw. And then, in the turn you call a wog, they get dev wounds.
Yeah.
Do like that quite a lot.
But basically, you're going to try and heal back models with the...
Yep.
So, you'll get multiple turns out of them, ideally.
Yep, absolutely. Or you
have gas in
the unit to give them +1 to hit, +1 to wound. I like them. I wish they had 1 more attack apiece. I don't really know why they have 2, They're orcs. Come on, why do they have 2 attacks? They seem good, but they have 2 attacks. I don't know why that is the case. Megatrack Scrapjet, Penn State.
This was the best one.
This one, the Squig Buggies, yeah. It kind of hits in combat, same as it did before, but it doesn't come in units of 3. So you tag it, and then 3 of these hit you. You were
still
informed.
a load of rocket shots with blast.
It is a load of rocket shots with blast, and then when you end a charge move, your opponent 2 through 5 they take D3. On a 6 they take 3. It's fine. Again, with most of the buggies, if they're cheap, I will take them. Mm-hmm. If they're expensive, they just don't have a good profile. Toughness 7, 9 wounds, and no -1 damage.
Toughness 7 is where infantry weapons can still do decent damage into you.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the 4-up save. Bolters can actually hurt this thing really bad.
Yeah.
Going in down to a mech.
A regular mech.
While this model is within 3 inches of 1 or more orc vehicles, is lone op. And then at the end of your movement phase, you can... end of the movement phase. You select a friendly orc vehicle, they regain D3 lost wounds, and they get +1 to hit. And it's whenever they make an attack. So a battle wagon that makes attacks, is pretty good, right? Because you make an attack with the unit, and then you get +1 to hit, and you shoot, and you get +1 to hit, and it's all good.
Yeah, definitely want him hanging around the battle wagons.
I would like that. I would like that quite a lot.
Kill rate.
Yeah. He has a kill saw, 1 attack. All right, mech guns. Every time you make a ranged attack, the target's unit contain 10 or more models, you reroll a hit roll 1, which is very cute. These are pretty good because they hit on 4s, in my mind. And they're also vehicle. So you can give them +1 to hit. And you target a model that hits on 2, that gets +1 to hit, but you can still give them +1 to hit if you really want to. They have a bunch of different profiles. The bubble chukka is random to determine what profile you get. So I don't like it, because you just roll a 1 or 2 into a vehicle, you don't do anything. You roll a 5 or a 6 into a horde unit, and you don't do anything. So I don't love the bubble chukka. The custom mega cannon is pretty decent. D6 shots, blast at a pretty good profile. Smash a gun is D3 shots, blast at a pretty good profile.
The tractor cannon
is
fly.
Hilarious. I was getting to that one last. The tractor cannon is probably the one you take. It wasn't one you took like
anti 2+ against fly.
Yeah,
fly is a prevalent keyword.
Fly is very prevalent, and then they're just D6 +1 mortal wounds on a 2-up to wound.
Wow.
Yeah, love that. Is Tractor Cannon the first instance of anti-X devastating wound shenanigans in this book? Yeah. No.
The head wop is Chill Choppa.
Head wop is Kill Choppa gives you dev wounds, and then they have anti-monster vehicle 4+. Super Barroth, $2 super chat. Thoughts on a basic mech healing, but not. Why do you got to do them like this? Come on, not call. Why you got to do them like this?
Orks are better than Atmic, that's for sure. They have rules.
Yeah, Tractor Cannon, super good.
Tractor Cannon, that seems good.
If they price that cheap, that thing is going to ruin some people.
And it's still 1 to 3? Okay, so you can still run a bunch of these dudes.
Oh, yeah, you can just run 9 of these things.
Yeah.
And I think you just run Tractor Cannons and just go, do you have fly? Sorry, you're dead. And if you don't have fly, it's still not a bad gun.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the custom Mega Cannon. Maybe take like a unit with custom Mega Cannons or something. But Tractor Cannon, like 1 unit of 3, just swats a fly unit out of the sky every turn. Pretty much. Morkanaut. It all hits on 5s in shooting. Custom Mega Zappa is a really good profile, but it hits on 5s. And then in combat, it kind of hits. I think the Morkanaut is the shooty version, which is kind of lame to hit on 5s. Sad. When it's a ranged attack, during the battle round, you call the WOG, it becomes worth taking, so it's good once a game. Probably don't take it. Whatever. You probably didn't have a Morkanaut in your possession. Anyway, it's fine. Mozrog Scragbad is really good here. He has Gut Rippa, which is strength 7, AP 1, damage 3 with anti-monster vehicle 4+, and Big Chompa Jaws, which hit on 3s instead of 4s at strength 7, AP 2, damage 4 with devastating wounds. So he hits not soft. He has a 4-up invuln and a 4-up feel no pain, and he's toughness 10 with 9 wounds, same as the regular one. His thump gun is hilarious, but doesn't really do any damage. In combat, he slams. If he makes an attack against a monster or vehicle, he gets +1 damage.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Titanic is +2? Yeah, he's your night killer.
Yeah, if he goes into a night, that night is having a bad day. Strength, damage 6, Big Chompa Jaws, and Gut Rippa, damage 5, is a very unhappy night. And then every time, this is going to be great. Every time he declares a charge, his successful wound roll of 5+ scores a critical wound. So his dev wounds on Big Chompa Jaws go off on a 5-up.
Nice.
And into Titanic, they are damage 6.
Okay.
You roll 1 or 2 of those, and you should. You're going to just be like 6, 12 mortal wounds, and then Gut Rippa's coming in.
Yeah, this guy's a pain to deal with. Obviously, not lone operative or bodyguard, but it's very durable for what you get. 4 Feel No Pain's very strong.
4 Feel No Pain, 4-up invuln. The regular one has a 5-up invuln. This guy is ludicrously tanky. All right, Knob, and he has a 3-up armor, I believe. Yeah, he's a 3-up armor, so he can bounce like small arms fire pretty good too, because he'll have cover, ignores AP1. He'll cover a lot of the time. Mozrog, I already have the model. It's going in my lists. You can't stop me. Knob on Smasher Squig, you'll be surprised, leads Squighog Boys, who are really good. You will be shocked. I love Squighog Boys so much.
5-up Feel No Pain.
They still move 10. They didn't lose a Pippa move. They have a 4-up save with a 5-up Feel No Pain, and so do Squighog Boys. They also have a 4-up save and a 5-up Feel No Pain.
T7, 2OC.
T7 with 2OC. He hits hard because he has anti-monster vehicle 4+, at 712, which is good enough for basically everything. And then Smash the Squig Jaws have extra attacks. During the battle round, which you call WOG, he has Anti-Monster Vehicle 3+, which is fine, but he gives his unit +1 to hit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he hits very hard, and his unit hits very hard. Man, I really wanted to get to the Squighog boys. But Nob with WOG banner. Once per battle at the start of the battle round, his model's unit gets the benefits of WOG, which is really good. And then while this model is gaining the benefits of the WOG, he has a 4-up invuln and an OC of 5.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. What can he join? Just
He
knobs?
can join, I believe, just knobs. I mean, boys too,
boys
but
too.
knobs.
Really, you're going to run a knob unit just to have this tech piece.
Knobs are pretty damn good, man. They're pretty damn good. While a war boss is leading the unit, -1 to wound, which is not if your strength is higher than my toughness, for the record. So Custodies firing a whole bunch of strength 4 shots at you, 6s. Sorry, bud.
Yep.
Get out of here. Most Space Marines.
Same as Lich Guard.
Yeah. You're just -1 to wound. Not if your strength is higher than your toughness, just -1 to wound, which is misery to try to deal with these guys, especially when they have an invuln, maybe when they have a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Honestly, I'm already thinking 2 units.
Yeah, I'm leaning right towards 3 of these boys.
Yeah.
They come in unit squads of 5, so if you want to take cheap skirmish units, you can. I mean, we'll have to see points, obviously, but I assume 5 is cheaper than 10.
No. Not with Orks. Not with Orks.
So knobs, big choppas hit very hard. 3 attacks goes to 4. Strength 7 goes to 8, 1, 2. Hits quite hard. Warboss gives them +1 to hit, I believe, if it's the same as all the other ones. So they'd be hitting on 2s with exploding 6s with those weapons. You can also give them a Power Claw, which might be better, because 4 attacks goes to strength 10, AP2, damage 2. And you can, exploding 5s and go in hitting on 3s, exploding 5s, 100% hit rate. Unit 5 is just 20 hits at strength 10, AP2, damage 2 on the WOG turn. Ouch.
Yes.
Yeah, that hurts. And then once a game, they're shooting its lethal hits because they have an ammo runt. Who cares at all? At all. They went up to movement 6. These guys get in there and they mess people up.
Yep, that sounds good.
Love this unit.
Unit stands out. -1 to wound is a very good ability to have.
Yes. And you can take multiple war bosses. This isn't like Sanguinary Guard where if your warlord is leading them.
With the combi weapon and grenades, they could put out a decent amount of mortals too.
They can, yeah. No, because you give them each combi weapon. You can get combi weapon and close combat weapon. So you can actually get a good combat weapon if you take the
Never
combi
mind.
weapon.
Nope. Forget about the combi weapon.
Forget about that. You're going to take either big choppas or power claws or a mix of the two.
Take the combat first.
Take the combat. I'll need to crunch the numbers on which of those two is better. They both seem pretty damn good, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really depends on what else is in your list. Because if you have more anti-elite, anti-tank stuff, then they can go into infantry and just blend them.
Yes. All right. So Pain Boss is the war boss that leads Beast Snag of Boys, or is a boss. While this model is leading a unit, they have a 5 of Feel No Pain, so you take a 20-man squad of boys with a Pain Boss in the unit.
Seems good.
Pretty nasty. You select a friendly Beast Snag a character model within 3 inches of the model. The reason you take this is because he heals those the Squig bosses for 3 wounds at the end of your movement phase. Because you just run him up next to the guy, heal him for 3.
Oh, 100% if you're running those.
100%. And then once a battle in your command phase, you return D3 destroyed bodyguard models to his unit. This guy seems nuts. I believe Knob in the unit also has 2 wounds, so you can take wounds on the Knob to use the 5 of Feel No Pain and then bring him back.
Yeah, and you don't need his leadership because you have this dude's leadership.
Exactly. And then the Beast Snag a Claw, Anti-Monster Vehicle 4+, with 922 is a pretty good profile when it's 4 attacks at 1022.
So just regular boys he can go in? He can't go in knobs?
He goes in Beast Snag a Boys.
Beast Snag a Boys.
If he went in knobs, he would be insanity. But yeah, he can go in a 20-man squad of Beast Snag a Boys. He can go in a 10-man squad. Either way, he makes him really annoying to try to kill.
Fair.
Pain Boy, 5 of Feel No Pain. Can he go in knobs? Oh boy, yes he can. He can go in knobs.
Oh god.
He's not a war boss though, which means you don't get that -1 to wound.
Oh, it has to be a war boss.
Has to be a war
okay,
boss.
but 5 of Feel No Pain is still not... If he's super cheap and the war boss is more expensive, then I might consider that trade-off.
Now, he does the same thing. Once a battle, he returns D3 destroyed bodyguard models. So you roll 3, you get 3 knobs back, and you go, bang!
It's models, yeah.
Yeah.
Stones.
And it also means that if your opponent winged you, you then get a ton of extra distance. Like, if your opponent killed 3 of your models, you just go, boop, 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 and just res forward, doop, 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 and then move, and then charge. And you also can get back on an objective that way. This guy's nuts in knobs. 5 of Feel No Pain on 2 wound models. I would love it if you could attach him and a war boss to the unit. But maybe
that would be spicy.
That would be very spicy. And then if he scores a critical wound, which he anti-infantry 4+ on his Urdu syringe, they take D6 mortals.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can join a whole bunch of that stuff.
All right.
He cannot join at the same time as War Boss.
Indirect fire.
Rocket Shark Squig Buggy! It was broken at some point, and then it got nerfed, and now we're going to see where it's at.
Wow, it's 6 plus D6?
It's 6 plus D6 blast, ignores cover, indirect fire at 5/1/2. Yes.
So it lost a pip of strength and...
It lost a hit as well, although if it targets infantry, it gets +1 to hit.
Okay.
So my guess is most of the time you're going to try to see your target, so you're not back to hitting on 5s. Because if you're hitting on 4s with D6 plus 6 blast into units...
It's a lot of shots.
...is a lot of shots. And yeah, it's just a lot of shots. Once per battle start of any phase, you pick an enemy within 3 inches on a 4-up, they take D6 mortals.
Just a little bit of anti-charge, although probably shouldn't need that in an orc list.
The rest of the orc list is the anti-charge.
I guess if you went for like shooting heavy, if you did do the 30 flash gets and like bunch of buggies, then that's a cool ability.
Yeah, if you just take 3 squig buggies and you're like, oh, did you charge me? Sorry. Bang, you took 2d6 mortals.
I figure you're going to have like 2 or 3 of these sitting in your backfield just popping away at things as needed.
If this thing's cheap, you're going to see 3 of it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of shots to solve random problems. It's just a tool that
the rest of the army doesn't really have.
Yep. It moves 12. You're going to want to get line of sight most of the time. AP1 ignores cover is very good. Damage 2, hitting on 4s into infantry just means you start sweeping small units off the board very quickly.
Yeah.
Or even you shoot it at, the unit of Desolation Marines in the backfield. And 3 of these things at D6 plus 8 shots is going to hurt it eventually.
Definitely.
It's going to hurt it real bad, actually. Custom Shock Rifle hits on a 3, which is cute. It's got a good profile, but it's 1 shot. Dev Wounds is hilarious.
And precision.
And precision. Oh, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Could just snipe a character.
You can just snipe a character. If this thing's cheap, again, I probably want to take it, but how many rocks does it have? Just 1. Each time this model is selected to advance, you can remove it from the battlefield, set it up again anywhere you want, more than 9 inches away, which is pretty good for engage, that sort of thing. It's not bad. If it's cheap...
You can't give it assault, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I wish. Then you advance, you see a character like, oh, look at that, I Yahtzeed you. Yeah. Squighawk boys.
All right, here we go.
These guys are, for my money,
7.
I think they're one of the best units in the book. They might be the best. They look insane. Knobs also look really insane to me, so I'm super excited.
5 of no pain.
Move 10, so they kept that. They went from toughness 6 to toughness 7. That's going to be miserable to try to deal with. They are 4-up save. Did the Knob have toughness 6? I think he might have. That might be a
No, he was down.
He was toughness 7?
Yeah.
All right, so toughness 7, which is miserable to try to deal with a lot of the time, especially when you have access. You don't have access to -1 to wound. I believe that's infantry only. But toughness 7 is very difficult to deal with, especially in combat. 4-up save, no invuln, 5 of feel no pain, but you get an invuln on the log turn. 3 wounds at toughness 7 with a 5-up feel no pain is no fun to deal with, especially when it gets cover now, which it did not used to.
Yep.
So this thing, they got way tougher. They ignore any modifiers to move and advance and charge, which is great, any or all. So you can still give them the +2 advance, +2 charge, +2 move, and then these guys go across the battlefield. And then once per battle, for each bomb squig they have, they can 2-up do D3 mortal wounds. They can get 2 bomb squigs per 6, 1 per 3, same as they did before. In combat, these things hit quite hard, because they look like they don't, but the +1 to wound and anti-monster vehicle 4+ means they just hurt everything. They just they hurt everything. I forget what the Knob did. I believe just gives them +1 to hit or something like that.
+1 to hit for sure.
+1 to hit. So they hit on 2s with 4 attacks at strength 6, AP1 damage 2 with Lance. +1 to hit, +1 to wound, exploding 6s. That's going to hurt. Off the log turn, they still hit quite hard. +1 to hit with 3 attacks and exploding 6s. With Lance or anti-monster vehicle 4+ means these units are going to not get the job done by a lot, but they're going to get the job done into most units.
Yep. And
They pack the damage they need.
Grenades, so they are a fast grenade unit.
Yep.
Throw mortals.
And then their Squighawk Jaws are 3 additional attacks at 6, 1, 2. So the extra attacks don't get extra attacks if you are in WOG, but it will get +1 strength. So all told, in WOG, these guys are 7 attacks each, hitting on 2s and 3s with exploding 6s. Some of it's +1 to wound, some of it isn't. Some of it's anti-monster vehicle, some of it isn't. These things hit really, really hard. 7 attacks is just
2 OC as well. That's
a
nice.
lot of attacks. Good OC, very difficult to deal with, decent mortals, and then their thrown weapon is whatever. It's fine. I don't particularly care. Hits on 5s when you advance instead of 6s, so that's cute, I guess. And it's anti-monster vehicle. These guys hit very,
Why does
very...
it have 5s?
Excuse me. It's ballistic skill 5 and has assault.
Oh, it's ballistic skill 5, yeah.
Yeah. The Saddle get weapons I don't particularly care about. But yeah, these guys are really good. In the Wog turn, they are way tougher than before. Outside of the Wog turn, they still have a 3-up with cover because they're going to get cover, whereas they didn't before. Their toughness 7, and the 5-up Feel No Pain is really obnoxious on 3-wound models. They've never been immortal, and they probably won't be immortal now. But what they are is impossible to chew through quickly. And you're looking to have that across your whole army. So your opponent just takes so long to deal with your units, and you don't with theirs.
Yeah, there's a lot of Feel No Pain in this book, which is amazing.
Yes.
Very few armies have easy access to Feel No Pain.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Squig Hog Boys. These things hit very hard. A unit of 3 on the charge is 21 attacks. Mm-hmm. They're good without a leader, but if you give them a leader, they hit way harder, and he hits very hard. So it's a 2 great tastes that taste great together. Love this thing. Love these guys. We'll have to see their points, see if you can spam them out, but
Stomp up.
Big fan of them.
T14, 30 wounds, 2-up save, easy to get cover.
Hits
Leadership
on
6
5.
plus somehow.
Leadership 6. 30 wounds with a 2-up means he doesn't die easily, if at all. Towering means he just sees you. Each time he makes a normal, he has the standard stepping over stuff. While friendly orc unit is within 12 inches, every time you take a battle shock, whatever, you had 1. I don't really care that much. How many guns has it got? It has 3 big shooters, a def cannon, scorcher, super gatlet. So there's one of everything else. Hitting on 5s is so bad, man.
It is quite durable now, and it's OC 12.
Yeah, you basically can't do... I mean, in combat, it hits super hard.
Deadly Demise 2d6. Imagine... Imagine rolling the Kareen on this.
You're staring down like a Bane. Yeah.
2d6 mortals to everything.
Just 2d6 mortals to everything within 6 inches of it, and you get to gigantic. Move first, and you just end the game on the spot if they kill it. If they kill it and you roll 6, the game immediately ends. The saddest thing would be if you just were at 0 CP. And you just had to watch the thing explode in the middle of your army instead of the middle of theirs. All right, Storm Boys. Storm Boys have deep strikes, so they can be rapid ingressed. That is what I like about them. Other than that, they're kind of fine. It can always charge after advancing. Never mind, I'm right back to it. I love it.
That was a roller coaster.
And then, before making a charge move, you roll d6 for each model in the unit. On a 1, they take a mortal wound. So the first one is free on the knob, and then after that, you're going to kill some people. So if you roll 3, then you lose 3 guys. They seem good. They come in units of 5 to 10, and they advance and charge natively, which is very good for continuing the attack. They deep strike, so rapid ingress. I foresee you're going to see a bunch of Storm Boys.
Yep, I think so too.
All right, we're getting close to the end here. We got Tank Busters. Tank Busters get +1 to hit and +1 to wound monsters and vehicles.
That's pretty spicy.
It's pretty spicy. Now, twice per battle, they have 2 bomb squigs, so twice per battle they bomb squig, which is really good. And they kind of got screwed on their loadout a little bit. What you want is rocket launches on everybody. You can't get that. You get a rocket launcher on the boss knob. You get a pair of rocket pistols that are just not the same. Strength 7, AP 1, damage D3, 1 shot with twin linked. They do.
Jesus.
That is what I don't like about this unit. One guy's equipped with a tank hammer.
It's also worse in a transport because the transport is shooting your weapons, so you don't get their data sheet rule, +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So you get 3 guys with rocket launches per 5. The pair of rocket pistols is garbage, and the tank hammer is so much worse than it was before. It used to be, if you hit, you do d6 mortals and pull the guy. Now it's 2 attacks, anti-vehicle 4+ dev wounds, which is not a bad profile, but it used to just be d6 mortals. And it just isn't. It just isn't anymore. So, the fact that you have an amazing rule that only applies to 3/5 of the unit is unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Twin linked on the pair of rocket pistols is a huge miss. I would much rather have just 2 shots. And I'd much rather just have the option for the entire unit to have rocket launchers, I believe, like it used to. If the entire unit had rocket launchers, that would actually be pretty scary to vehicles. It's an average of 10 shots hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s. It's not actually even that scary. Yeah. Kind of a miss. They have an amazing rule and just a bad loadout.
Yeah. The truck, all right, does still move 12.
Still moves 12.
T8 now, 10 wounds, 4-up save.
with firing deck 12 and heals a wound at the start of the turn. It is mediocre in combat. It is mediocre in shooting. Actually, it's just bad at both of those. It's toughness 8, which is low. 4-up save, which is not great. Although it's the same as before, and you'll get cover. So, it's nice. It does not have Ramshackle. I expect these things to be cheap and plentiful. It does have a 6-up invuln. That's pretty cute. Yeah. I expect these things to be cheap and plentiful, and then you will take them to put your boys in and rocket them around the battlefield. This thing's a shell that just protects the units inside. Dies, they get out behind a wall or something. All right, Indie X with a £5 super chat. How are most orcs somehow tougher than Drukhari Grotesques? Because orcs are tough. Orcs are real tough.
Listen, man. Especially with the pain boss hanging around.
Oh, yeah. Knobs with 5 and feel no pain. Love that. Yeah, I don't know. You're in the wrong chat to complain about that. Orcs tough. All right, War Bikers.
So this is where the big bike man can go in.
Yes, and the auto 6 on the advance, real good. Every time it makes a ranged attack, the target's unit within 9, improve the AP by 1. And then they have bad shooting, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Would have loved to see a combat buff there instead.
Yeah, I don't really know why they shoot. I'm going to be 1,000 with you. I mean, they are 5 shots apiece inside 9, which you're going to be if you make the ranged attack. And then they are twin links, so they reroll wounds. Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just not what they're going to be doing. I don't know why they do that. Like, they're going to be in combat. If they each time this model makes a ranged attack. If it was just an attack that targets a unit within 9, like there was a shield host that did it. If it's just every time they make an attack, improve the AP within 9, that would be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick, honestly. But it's a ranged attack. They hit on 5s. Come on, man. They're not doing that. They're getting in there and they're beating your face.
All right, basic war boss.
They might still be doing it, by the way. They might still do it, and it might still be fine. And they're just, if they're cheap and they can run around the board being cheap a whole bunch of attacks, then I'm all for it. But I wish the rule buffed melee. War boss. While he's leading a unit, +1 to hit. Sounds good. When you call a Wog until the start of the next battle round, +4 to his attacks. So he hits very hard on the Wog turn. Mm-hmm. He has a combi weapon that hits on 5s, whatever. Attack squig that does basically nothing. But Big Choppa or Power Claw getting 4 extra attacks, and then a 5th one for the Wog, and then +1 strength, and then +1 to hit, and exploding 6s. That's a 9 attack Power Claw that hits on 2s with exploding 6s, strength 11. Like,
yep, that guy can hit hard.
That guy hits
pretty much what he does, but yeah.
Pretty damn hard, I'll be honest with you. You probably take the Power Claw because he gives himself +1 to hit, so they both hit on 2s. And then the +4 attacks really evens their profile out. Yep. Love this guy. This guy's great. This guy's great. He can go to knobs. He makes them hit really, really hard. He gives them -1 to be wounded. Solid. War boss in Mega Armor can surprisingly go in Mega Knobs. While he's leading unit, they get +1 to hit, which is nice. And then they get he gets Feel No Pain 4+ on the Walk turn.
That's okay. Yeah.
I wish he had got the extra attacks. Somehow his huge Choppa hits harder
huge
than the Power Claw because it's 4 attacks at strength 12, AP 2, damage 2. 5 attacks at strength 13 on Wog. And I wish that he got the extra attacks because the extra attacks.
Let's be real. The Mega Knobs are going to get that the Big Mech in Mega Armor or Gas.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Wazbomb Blastojet was the good one for a while. Hit rolls of 1 against stuff that cannot fly, and he hits on 4s, except with the Twin Teleport Mega Blasta, so, we'll have to look at that.
It's only AP 1 now.
The Bear has a 4-up invuln save, but loses the grenades keyword. This thing has grenades.
What?
This thing has grenades.
That is ridiculous. 4-up invuln is actually where it's kind of tanky.
Yeah, the Wazbomb Blastojet, the 4-up,
This is the best plane by far.
By far, because it just lives.
Yeah, it also has the best guns.
Yep. Smash-A-Gun, Twin Wazbomb Mega Cannon, Armored Hull. Armored Hull just is combat, whatever.
It's probably going to be the most expensive by far, to be fair.
I would be surprised. Twin Wazbomb Mega Cannon can be replaced with 1 Twin Teleport Mega Blast, so it only gets 1 of these 2 guns. Kind of mediocre on that. 1 Blaster Force Field, which you'll take, and then you will take the Twin Super Shita. Decent amount of guns. You probably take the Wazbomb Mega Cannon. D3 shots blast with Twin Linked at 12 -2.
It's fine
D6.
for orc shooting.
It's fine for orc shooting. 4 Binvuln is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Weird Boy, +1 strength and damage to his Ed Banger, which is...
Yep, they previewed this guy.
Pretty good, and then he can teleport units around. I don't hate it.
Don't roll a
Don't
1.
love it, but don't hate it.
Yeah.
D6 more wounds, jeez. Warboy has a pretty decent... I got hits on a 5. I see the stats, and then I see hits on a 5. While this model is leading a unit, +2 attacks to this model's Eyes of Mork weapon. And for every 5. So you can put them in a 20-man unit and get +8 shots on Eyes of Mork, which is the point where you're like, oh, damn, that actually hits. And just get hazardous. Whatever. Your opponent's command phase, pick an enemy with an 18, visible to the Psyker. On a 1, he hurts himself. On a 2, every time a battle shock or leadership test is taken for that enemy unit, -2.
Fine.
Mediocre. Honestly.
I'm not seeing 5 of Feel No Pain.
He can go in Beast Snagga Boys, yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you're taking that 5 of Feel No Pain. Zodgrod Wartsnaga has the best buff in the game. While this model is leading while this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have Scout 9, get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and get -1 to be wounded. I think that is the best buff in the game.
Probably.
He leads Grotz. He leads Gretchen. Yeah. I think he has the best...
It's a good Gretchen unit.
It's an amazing Gretchen unit. And then also, when you call a Wog, +6 inches to the move characteristic of models in his unit.
The red Gobbo better be in that unit.
Zodgrod Wartsnaga legitimately has the best suite of buffs possibly in the entire game. They do go on the worst unit in the game, but he has...
Not the worst unit. It's still an OC2 unit.
Sorry, the weakest unit.
Yeah, the weakest unit in Orks. Like, weak.
He hits pretty hard, though. To grab Zappa hits real hard, especially on walk turn. I'm not against having this guy if he's cheap. That unit is, like, shockingly... Scout 9 is the main reason. You get them in mid-board already, and -1 to wound makes them annoying to kill.
Yep.
And then if you call a Wog, they go +6 moves. They go 12 inches on their move, plus an advance.
Let's not discount the +1 to hit, +1 to wound on these bad boys.
They do get +1 attack and +1 strength on the walk turn. Like,
I just tear something down.
This is insane for taking away enemy guns turn 1. Because they go 9, then they move 12, then they advance, then they charge. And they just tag a bunch of guns, and you're like, all right, I'm -1 to be wounded. Have fun. You're in combo with me. I'm -1 to be hit. Have fun. I have a 5 of Binvoln.
Yeah,
like, I think that's
I would run this as
strong.
like a jank unit.
Yeah, for sure. Just depends on his points, obviously.
Yeah.
Mech Boy Workshop, and then we are out. Mech Boy Workshop.
Does it do anything?
Every time a ranged attack is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible to every whatever. It has the standard thing. I keep reading it. All parts have to be set up within 1 inch. Each friendly Orc vehicle model within 12 inches of fortification can regain up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be effective as... So at the end of your movement phase, every Orc vehicle within 12 regains D3 lost wounds. Pretty good.
That's fine.
It's fine. If you're taking a...
I'm going to guess that the little big mech who heals D3 is cheaper than this dude.
But this
by
heals
like
it
a significant
to
margin.
every single vehicle within 12.
It really depends if you're going to be running tons of vehicles.
It's not hard to kill, but if your opponent tries to kill it, they're not killing your actual stuff.
If you put this on the table, I'm just going to laugh at you.
I'm going to laugh with you. I'm going to laugh with you. For you are laughing.
Look at how ridiculous this thing is.
It is very silly. Mech Boy Workshop. All right, that is Orks, everyone. Damn, there's a lot of data sheets, but we went through them all.
There's some good stuff in here.
Think their playstyle of pressure aggression is where they are at. Where's their... I'm looking for that picture we can end on. There we go. Yeah, so I think they have pressure and aggression in spades. They don't have a lot of access to Wog off the Wog turn. They don't have access to advance and charge a lot off the Wog turn. So that's something we definitely need to look at and see how we can keep pressing forward.
Some really durable units. You can have a lot of durable units where, as before, you could... An Orc army in line of sight, you're picking up almost all the units that you see with a 9th edition army. Now, you might pick up 1 unit if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Some of these units can be very tanky.
Very tanky. I think what's going to happen is they're going to be 1 unit very killable. 10 units... not super killable.
Standing in the middle of the table, popping Wog, and being like, 5 of Binvoln, like I feel no pains all over the place. Good luck.
Multiple wounds,
then,
resurrecting D3 models out of each knob unit once a game, which you're going to have 1 turn that is very scary, a go turn, and you got to make it count. I think going second is legitimately better because then you move into the center of the table, get the 5 of Binvoln, and then jump on your opponent. And once you've jumped on them, you honestly probably don't need the advance and charge anymore. That's usually how it worked. I think going second is going to be better than going first. Because going first, you just take it to the chin.
They have some really great strats here. So CP Discipline, I didn't really see ways to make CP cost 0 or to gain them. Maybe there was like 1 or 2 things. But overall, I really was quite impressed by the strats. So
Yeah.
CP discipline going to be huge here.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of like an MSU style build where you've all, like, as I said, like 10 units, 12 units that are all obnoxious to kill, a bunch of characters. We'll have to see if that can come together, right? If there are points to do that. But if they are...
They could run Hero Hammer. You can run like a balance list with some combat, some shooting. You could run all melee pressure build. It looks like they have multiple styles in here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this codex, or index. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see. They seem like they hit really hard, especially on the Wog turn. They hit really, really hard. Outside of the Wog turn, they still hit. They hit less hard, though. They definitely do. Unfortunate.
We're going to be doing tons more analysis on the Orks and the Worm, so please do join us in the description, theworm.vhx.tv, and there's a 3-day free trial, so please do check it out. If you like this type of 10th edition content, please give us a like, leave a comment below. What's your favorite Ork combo in this book? What are your favorite data sheets? Tell us how you're feeling about Orks. We'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate everybody's continued support. Next up is going to be Aldari, I believe.
I believe so.
Check under that live button on our channel page, and you'll see all the events, and click that notify me button to know when we go live for each of them. But Xenos Day, we're going to be here all day hanging out with you. So hope you're hanging out with us as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
So long.